Fast track to second year at UTS, Australia's #1 young university in the heart of Sydney. Study at the newest and best campus right here in Colombo. Modern technology labs and classrooms. Highly qualified lecturers with small class sizes. Study business, IT or engineering. Sydney is a top 10 best student city.
Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining our webinar. My name is Alison Hiscox and I'm the Principal of UTS Sri Lanka. I'm sure many of you have joined us today because you're interested in learning more about our UTS Sri Lanka campus and also the University of Technology, Sydney. But more importantly, to hear from our students and alumni who have some first-hand experience to share with you. Starting your education at the Colombo campus means that you don't need to delay your study during the current travel restrictions. It means that you can stay on track to reach your goal of finishing your degree at Australia's #1 young university. If you're interested in learning more about our campus in Colombo, I will join you again after the panel session and share a range of incentives that will be available to you. So I'd now like to introduce our panel. We have Vishnie Babindran, who is, our panel is going to share their story and experiences with you. So we have Vishnie Babindran, who is one of our current Diploma of Engineering students at the Sri Lanka campus. We have Vihan Wakista, who is an UTS InSearch alumni and a current UTS Sydney student studying his Bachelor of Engineering. And we also have Pramesh, who is a UTS InSearch alumni and a current UTS student, and he's studying his Bachelor of IT. At the end of the webinar, I also would like to share a video with you from one of our UTS Sydney alumni, Dr. Damit Hirath. He originates from Kandy in Sri Lanka, and he has a really inspiring story. He's an Associate Professor of Robotics and Art and a UTS engineering graduate. So more on his story later. But for the moment, over to you now, Vishnie.
Thank you, Ms. Alison. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining with us. With me, I have Vihan and Pramesh, and we're going to be sharing our experiences of UTS, both in Sri Lanka and Sydney. And of course, we are going to hear from Vihan and Pramesh about life in Sydney as an international student. I'm very interested to hear more about their experiences and advice too to help me prepare for UTS Sydney. I would like to start with my story, why I chose UTS Sri Lanka and what the experience has been like for me. So initially, my desire was to study at one of Australia's top universities. So that's when I came across UTS Sydney and UTS InSearch Sri Lanka. Initially, when I heard about UTS InSearch Sri Lanka, I had no idea or clue about it. And then I started researching and finding things about UTS InSearch Sri Lanka and about the facilities they were to provide the students. And then I felt I should start my undergraduate journey with UTS InSearch Sri Lanka. But having said that, I still had a small fear about joining UTS InSearch Sri Lanka since it was something totally new to me as well as my country. But once I stepped into the college, everything changed. The atmosphere as well as the college's interior structure was something similar to the one I was expecting in Australia. This pleased me a lot, and I was actually happy and excited to start my journey at UTS InSearch Sri Lanka. Apart from that, I also felt that UTS was not a university which focuses only on the theoretical knowledge delivered to its students. It gives more priority to the practical and technical skills, which in result has brought the confidence in me that I would be able to face any kind of work environment. So after studying at UTS InSearch Sri Lanka and being a part of it for almost a year now, I would say that if you are someone who has the aspiration to study at an Australian university, then UTS InSearch Sri Lanka will help you immensely. It actually gives you a guaranteed pathway to your dream destination, and it allows you to do your first year at your home country, helping you adapt to the Australian teaching techniques, which in result brings the confidence in you to move and pursue your education overseas. So apart from all this, getting getting the opportunity to study in a multicultural environment and getting to know people from all parts of the world is one thing I'm looking forward to the most about moving to Sydney and studying at UTS. So now you have heard more about me. I would like to ask Vihan and Pramesh about their experiences. Hi, Vihan and Pramesh.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm very
Hi.
good, thank you. So as international students studying at UTS Sydney, can you tell us more about how you got there? So over to you, Vihan, now.
Thank you, Vishnie. So first of all, hi everyone, I'm Vihan. In my final year of my bachelor's in mechanical engineering at UTS. How I got over here to Sydney is basically, well, first of all, my aunt is living in Sydney, so that's like a tick off. Yeah, that's my destination for my higher studies. And second of all, I didn't know about UTS, like Vishnu said. My aunt was the one who recommended UTS to me. She was like, if you are engineering, it is great if you could go to a university which provides a lot of technical expertise and first-hand experience with tools. So UTS is a university that does that. So upon looking at the university facilities and the structure and all, I decided to come over to Sydney to pursue my higher education at UTS. Yeah.
Pramesh, can we hear a few words from you?
Yeah, sure. For me, in terms of my experience, why I chose UTS and UTS in search and general was to start off with. My initial plan wasn't to come to my idea was not to study in Australia. That wasn't my first choice. But after doing some research on universities in Australia, I came across UTS in search and UTS. And that's what kind of pulled me towards to come to Sydney and study over here rather than going to other countries. So I saw a couple of videos and a couple of service and facilities and the rankings of the University of UTS when I was researching. And that's one of the key points that really drawed me towards this university. And another one would be it's number one in Australia in terms of computer science, which is something I like and which I'm studying right now as well. So I thought why not I should join this university, which would take me to another different platform in the life. After completing ID, to take me to different, give me a lot of bigger experiences and opportunities to prosper in the IT field. So that's how I came across UTS in search and UTS, and since then I've been loving it, and I'm about to finish my degree. So far, it's been great. It's been really good.
Thanks, Vihan and Pramesh. Let's talk about life as a student at UTS. I've heard great things, but I want to hear your experiences in firsthand. So what are the highlights for you at UTS? Could you tell us about the campus as well as the faculty of engineering and IT? Pramesh, would you like to start on it?
Oh, yeah, sure. So UTS University and in search, it's located in central part of Sydney. It has tons of buildings which focus on different kind of faculties and different areas, research areas, and those kind of things. My experiences in the campuses has been really amazing because there's a lot of different facilities and buildings to explore. Still, I'm in my third year already, but I'm still exploring the university. There's lots and lots of things I still don't know about, and every time I discover these new findings, it's just amazing to see that what uni's been doing currently in different fields, not just in IT, but it could be science, communications, and other faculties. They've been doing really great, and the projects are really fascinating as well. And it's good to know that you're part of such a university, which is really versatile in terms of providing services to people from different disciplines. As for my faculty, IT and engineering, it's as I said, it's considered one of the best in the world, and obviously number one in Australia itself. And the faculty is much more vast than it looks like. So if you are a student inside, you get to go into different kinds of expos, different kinds of programs and competitions to actually show your talent to industry experts, which will actually eventually land you a really great job opportunity in the future. There are different events such as hackathons, which is where a group of students work on a certain problem and try to solve it in a limited time. And there are other things as the final year presentation, where every student who has done some kind of project throughout their degree will bring their out, put it on a stall, and all these industry experts will walk around, look at your design, which is very cool. You still get like, it's a bit nerve-wracking in the beginning, but when they start actually giving you feedback, you actually feel really good, like you have actually done something and people actually like it. And another would be like internal kind of competitions where your projects from each subjects will be in a competition with other peers from the same course, and you get the opportunity to showcase in front of different people, and it's great as well. So in the end, you get to make tons and tons of connections throughout the degree. It will be connections from a lot of IT industry experts, also like experts from other disciplines as well. But in the end, it's really great that these people are willing to help you and guide you through applying jobs or what subjects to choose, and just to shape your whole career in the future. So that's what I've been exposed to so far, and I've been just loving it, being amazed every single day I go to uni. Even though there's pandemic at this stage, even the online events are really great. I've been learning a lot of things from home and hoping that I do great after my graduation.
That sounds interesting. Okay, so Vihan, what is your idea about the campus?
So I guess Pramesh pretty much covered everything. But for me, I would say I usually study on campus, do my revision, and also I tend to. So, example, last year I did everything at uni. I didn't take any of my studies back home, so I tend to stay up until around 3 or 4 in the morning at uni. So my experiences around the faculty of engineering and IT was pretty amazing. The campus, the faculty is open 24/7. And some of the labs are also accessible to students once they complete that course. For example, for me, I get into a lot of design labs, mechanical design, mechatronic design, handling all the equipment and all. So for like further studies, and also once you complete one subject, that is like a prerequisite for another, and you might need that knowledge. You definitely do need that knowledge. So for your practicing, for your further self-studies, it is really helpful that uni allows students access into these labs, and also the security at uni and around the campus is amazing. There's nothing to worry about, even if you have to do late night studies. Again, like Pramesh said, I was a lot concentrated on my career and how to build my portfolio from the first year onwards. So I was quite engaged in whatever the university offered in terms of career development. For example, they even have webinars, they even have seminars, and they have mock interviews and also how to prepare your resumes. There's websites where you can apply, send your resume to test it. So all of these uni provides for every student to get them up and running to face the real engineering world or whatever discipline they are in. Also, university is affiliated with Engineers Australia. So recently there was this engineers like a meet and greet where many of the industry representatives came in, so the students can ask their queries. So it's a lot of engaging into the industry, which is very essential for a student. Rather than just studies and all practical knowledge, you need to know what's going on in the industry. You know the companies. You need to start preparing which path you want to go into, especially in mechanical engineering. It's a broad subject, so there are so many different pathways. So I've already chosen my pathway, and like that, many students should be given that opportunity to do so, and should, the unis should guide the students into what they would want to do. So UTS does that. And also for international students, there's a lot of student support, maybe financial, maybe health-wise or studies. Got any queries, you can go and ask them. Anything you don't know, you can go and ask them. And also the other thing which I found very important for me, especially in the first year, is that networking events. So you are a foreigner to an unknown city for most of you guys. So it was the case for me as well. Even though I had my aunt over here, but I need to make some friends. So these networking events really helped me to build a friend base, I would say, and also get to know the academics as well. So all in all, it was an amazing experience. The facilities, the students who I work with, especially for the group work, the group projects. So a lot of collaboration. And I am really, really happy and the way I came into the final year, and I'm so excited to get into the industry from next year. Thank you.
That's great. Okay, so Vihan, UTS is located in the heart of Sydney. Can you tell us more about the location and what is around the area?
Sure, Vishnie. Yeah, UTS is indeed located in the heart of Sydney. So in the city, that is an amazing thing for students who use public transport to access the uni. So I take the train from where I live to Sydney Central, and it's just a 10-minute walk towards campus. So UTS is a city campus where you will find buildings all throughout a particular area. And so depending on your the building which you have your studies in, it would take around 5 to 10 minutes to get from the campus, from the central station to the campus. And also there are bus services right directly in front of the campus. So very accessible in terms of transportation and also in terms of other facilities such as, if you want to go and dine in, also get some snacks, cheap snacks, I would say, especially the ones around right around uni. You could get for half price, you could get for a lot of student discounts and so on. And also, you got shopping, you got your cinemas, you got basically everything you would find in the heart of the city. So absolutely. And also what I found interesting, amazing was that, some of the engineering projects would require you to get some equipment or, some things to work on a project. So there's all of those available right next to uni. And also uni has got their bookshops and all what students would need. So I would say really accessible in terms of where it is located, the perfect place for uni to be. Thank you.
Thank you. Pramesh, can you give me your thoughts?
So it's mostly what Vihan said, to be honest. The first thing would be it is located in the heart of Sydney. So that's from Central Station, just 10 minutes, 10, 15 minute walk to UTS. And since it's in the heart of the Sydney, it is kind of spread out in the city. So UTS, there are people who say that since it's spread out, it'll be hard to navigate around uni. But from my own personal experience, I would say it's actually good because it's kind of an adventure for especially a student who don't know much about the stuff around the camp in Sydney in general, and especially the central area, which can be really crowded, and there could be a lot of ways to go in and out of the city. So the adventure is really nice. There are buildings spread out across central, and for maybe you might have classes which might require you to go to different buildings, and which is a bit of an adventure. In between, you will see different other areas of the city. It could be food places. You discover new areas, especially when you have friends. You tend to try those new places, and you discover really tend to discover good foods, discounts. Like Vihan said, we get a lot of discounts as students as well. And another one would be the resources that's been surrounded across uni would be if you're engineering or IT degree, if you want to, or even if you design or something, if you want to buy materials for your project, you can easily find it across campus, 2 to 5 minutes of walk. It's very easy, very convenient. You don't need to think much once you come to the city. The transports are really great. If you tend to stay 24 hours in the uni, study really hard, you can still do that. There are places where you can literally take a shower in uni as well. So it's really great. I've seen students, myself as well, sometimes we do an all-nighter, and it's really great. And since it's the central, it's quite safe as well. And buses and trains go till 2 to 3 a.m. and there will be an hour or two gap between of not working, but which is completely fine. And plus, once you have friends, you don't really feel like that alone. So it's great. So the location is perfect, and the adventure is still great. And till this day, I'm already in my third year. I still haven't gone everywhere in UTS, to be honest. I'm still exploring. Whenever I find a new building, there's always something that's different about that building in particular. Maybe there's a different secret kind of room, or maybe there's something else. There's always an adventure in UTS throughout the years of study. Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'm interested in life in Sydney and the safety aspect. So Pramesh, was Sydney what you were expecting? Can you tell us a little bit about what you liked the most there?
So I've been in Sydney for roughly around 3.5 years. And so the Sydney life for me has been great so far. So since the day I came in, I had like zero clue about how everything works. Even though I have a lot of relatives over here in Sydney, but still everyone has like a different perspective of how they've been living in Sydney. So I had to find my own. So I did listen to other people, but I wanted to like explore. So when I first came in, I would say there were a lot of factors that were completely opposite to compared to my country. But as the time went by, I tend to see a lot of communities pop up in Sydney. I used to hear that it was multicultural, and it's actually true. So regardless what country you come from, you will find a community here based on different suburbs and different areas in Sydney, which will actually make you feel like home if you start feeling homesick. And there's different hotspots. If you still miss your like mom's cooking or something, you can still go to these community places and go there, have the same food that you used to eat at home, talk to the people. And if you still need help, these communities will help you in terms of guiding you to the right place. And another one would be, I think my best suggestion would be, if you try to get a friend as whenever you get a chance, as soon as possible. It's no rush. I know like people will get shy and a bit nervous in the beginning. I was the same as well, but it's just about that taking a step, just crossing, going beyond your boundary, and doing that. And once you get at least one friend, you're set. From there, it just goes in a cycle. It's like a domino effect. You keep getting friends, and there's a big community of yourself as well. But in overall experience has been great. All I would suggest upcoming students would be confident. Don't listen to other people as well, but try to explore the things by yourself, Sydney by yourself, and try to create your own perspective on how it's gonna be in Sydney life. Yeah.
All right, thank you, Pramesh. So Vihan, what did you find challenging about relocating to Sydney and studying abroad? So, like, were you nervous? How easy was it to make friends?
I had mixed feelings. Before I came to Sydney, I came in 2016 December, so 2 months before uni started. I was super excited to leave my country. I don't know why. Maybe going to a new country and a city is so exciting. When I came here, I still had mixed feelings, and when I settled down, I started going through all these recommendations for international students and officers, and their social medias groups which help and support international students in settling in. So it was like Pramesh said, it took a bit of time to get settled in, like I would say just a few months, but I actually did have time since I came here well before uni started. So what I did was to get to know the demographics of the city. I roamed around. I got to know all the hotspots, especially around uni, and any tricks and tips for all the students. So there's this app for international students which helps them locate discounted meals, discounted items, locations around Sydney, things which will be helpful for them. Um, Also, in terms of accommodation, so I chose off-campus accommodation, but I didn't find any difficulty in locating an accommodation. So at first, I stayed around a 15-minute train ride away from uni, relatively close, in a shared house. So since Sydney is a student-oriented city with a lot of campuses and a lot of international students, there's so much facilities and so much arrangements have been made by the council to facilitate these students. And so again, I would say the uni also helps. Uni has specific websites and pages to help the students settle in. To the students, I would say who are planning on coming to Sydney, of the city and the uni, and get to know it a bit more before you step in, so you know what to expect. In terms of security, I had no issues. Security and safety, it was all perfectly fine. The city, even at night, it was well lit, and also there are so many, the cops are patrolling all around. So even the suburb which I lived in, no issues at all. Very accessible for anyone who's using public transport. So all in all, it was amazing. There was no worry and no safety issues that I faced all throughout the time I stayed in Sydney.
All right, thank you. So Pramesh, can you tell us more about the campus life? Do you get involved in academic or social activities or join any clubs or associations?
Sure. So one thing that's really great about UTS, except for studies, is its social life. So all the social activities and clubs, there's almost roughly around 200 clubs in UTS doing for different kinds of interests. So if you're interested, it could be anything. Let's say if you're interested in drawing, for example, there is a society for drawing. So for example, like that. So there's tons and tons of society, and there's faculty societies as well for your own study purposes. For each major, there's different societies as well, which is really great at UTS. So from my experiences, I've been involved in various kinds of activities, clubs and societies in UTS and in Search, both in total. So my experience has been really, I would say, exciting. It's been exciting. It still is exciting because I'm learning every single day. Currently, I am like part of one of two societies. So one would be towards my IT course, which is for data science and AI. I'm in one of the executives for that club, and I'm also an executive for our own UTS Research Alumni Club. And these are the two clubs which I've been really active with for the past couple of months. And it's been great. I've been able to meet people and students from various backgrounds with different kinds of skill set. And we do different kinds of events and programs where we all come together, discuss, meet other people, connect with each other, help each other out in terms of studies, in terms of work life, social life. And obviously, except for studies, we do hang out outside, go for food, go for drinks, and those kind of things. But in general, UTS has tons and tons of opportunities, except for studies, in terms of extra, if you want to pick up an extra skill. And for me, I always loved meeting new people and always engaging with new people and helping new people. So that's why I got more involved in these kind of areas. Same for UTS InSearch as well. I got in the volunteering team there as well to help orientation students with transitioning all over to Sydney, going to UTS and those kind of things. And through there, I progressed to different other opportunities, such as this panel right now. If I hadn't gone one step beyond at that time when I first came to Sydney, I wouldn't be here talking with you guys. So I give a lot of credit for that opportunity at that time. And so throughout the years, I've been part of different kinds of programs, met a lot of people, helped a lot of students, and it's been great so far. So the best recommendation I could give is try to find those areas in UTS and InSearch. I would say take it step by step. So when you first come to InSearch, take part in activities over there. And once you get kind of used to it, the basis form, you have a really good foundation. Then once you go to UTS, the clubs are on a bigger scale. So you already have the basic knowledge and all the foundation already gathered from InSearch. You can easily accommodate and adapt to these bigger situations at UTS. And obviously, you will meet other people who will guide you as well throughout the process. For me as well, same thing. A lot of people, a lot of mentors have guided me throughout the years, and I have found a lot of mistakes within myself, and I've improved that. I'm still trying to do a lot of those, and so far it's been great. I'm almost finished my degree, so I will miss it a lot because after graduate I can't do it, obviously, but so far I've been enjoying, and I would tell all the students, enjoy as much as you can, study hard as well, but on the side, put your social life very active. Just enjoy your time at uni.
All right. Thank you so much, Vihan and Pramesh. I know I've learned a lot of things from your experiences, and I'm really looking forward to move to Sydney next year to continue my degree at UTS Sydney. And thanks everyone for listening to us, and hope to see you on campus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vishnie, Vihan and Pramesh. Vihan and Pramesh, it was great to hear your experiences at UTS in Sydney and what it's like to be an international student in Australia. And Vishnie, great to hear about your experience on campus here in Sri Lanka. So you'll see up on the screen now that we have some additional events that I'd like to talk to you very, very briefly about. We've got our UTS Sri Lanka Virtual Open Day next week. You've got the time up there. That will give you more information on our courses, admissions process, scholarships, all those sorts of things. And then the following week on Wednesday, the 1st of July, we have our Advice-a-thon, where we have a Sri Lankan student and parents talking about their decision to choose the Sri Lanka campus, and also some Sydney students and their parents talking about the processes that they went through and what it was like to becoming an international student. So please make sure that you remember to register for them. All right, so what I'd like to do now is just to show you the video that I mentioned to you at the beginning. This is on Dr. Damon Clearath, who is a UTS engineering alumni graduate, and it's a little bit about his journey. So yeah, if we could show that now, that would be fantastic. It's quite inspiring.
I'm currently assistant professor in software engineering at the University of Canberra, and also I'm a co-founder of a company called Robological. Actually, you'd be surprised that my first passion was to become an actor, which I think for some various reasons didn't eventuate. With two of my colleagues, we formed Robological to research and develop technologies for companies to use, especially in the context of robots that work with humans rather than just industrial robots. I built my first robot when I was 10 years old. Since then, I really wanted to build robots and learn more about robotics. I work both in robotics and art. That brings really completely different perspectives to your work. They push you in different areas that you never really thought possible. And that's actually part of the reason why we formed Robological, because some of the things that we're thinking from an art perspective were so far-fetched. The more science fiction than existing science, but that actually pushes you. When I wanted to do electronics in my undergraduate studies in Sri Lanka, because I didn't do well in some other subjects, I couldn't get into that. Even though I was really doing well in my electronics, and that was really devastating for me then. But because of that, I ended up doing robotics at UTS. So I did my PhD at UTS in engineering. I think one of the striking points about UTS is it's such a technologically advanced place, but at the same time it had that communal feeling. So we were really a community then. Like Steve Jobs said, you can't really connect the dots looking forward, it's always looking backwards. And I'm really happy where I am at the moment, the things that I've done, and especially bringing two different fields together. If I could go back and tell my 17-year-old self, I would say just go and do what you want to do. And if things don't work out, just let them go.
Awesome, great advice there from Damien, very inspiring. You can see where you can end up with a degree from the University of Technology, Sydney, and also a lot of hard work. So just before we close, I would just like to remind you again that even if you need to delay your travel plans, you don't need to delay your education. Consider joining us at UTS in Sri Lanka. Our classes start on the 6th of July. You can complete your diploma with us if you started on the 6th of July, you would complete it in January next year, and then you would be ready in March next year to start at the University of Technology, Sydney, with full credit for everything that you've studied here with us in Sri Lanka. So I did mention an incentive earlier on. So for all students who enrol and pay their deposit by next Friday, we offer you a guaranteed 25% scholarship, as well as waiving the registration fee. Additionally, dependent on your academic results, you may even qualify for a higher scholarship. So think about that. It's a great opportunity. Contact us now through insearch.edu.lk. That will take you to the website. There's lots of ways for you to make contact with us. So we've come to the end of our webinar. So on behalf of UTS Sri Lanka, I would like to thank all of our webinar participants again for their time. And I would like to especially thank you, the audience, for taking your time out today to share with us. I have mentioned the events that are coming up, and I really hope that you'll join them too. And I look forward to seeing all of you again very soon. Thank you.